What if the greatest force inside of you, the very thing that drives your actions, decisions, and desires, has been lying dormant, obscured by the noise of society's expectations? What if your truest potential has been stifled by an invisible force? Consider this. In a world full of distractions, commitments, and constant self-doubt, is it possible that your deepest desires for success, fulfillment, and growth are being drowned out by the very systems designed to support you? The world tells you that the key to happiness lies in stability, in playing it safe, in following prescribed paths. But what if true greatness, the kind of greatness that transcends all limits, exists precisely beyond these boundaries? Nietzsche's concept of the will to power stands as a stark, unsettling contrast to conventional wisdom. It compels us to look inward and challenge everything we think we know about ourselves. He argues that beneath the surface of our conscious thoughts, there exists a force that compels us to expand, to grow, and to dominate, not in the conventional sense, but through the development of our human potential and our capacity to become who we are truly meant to be. This force, the will to power, is not just a desire for external success or control over others. It's the drive to overcome every limitation we've internalized, to transcend the narrow definitions imposed on us by society, and to evolve beyond our present selves and reach into the very core of who we are capable of being. But here's where the contradiction lies. Society teaches us that power is dangerous. It warns us to suppress our instincts, to conform, to remain in the comfort of the collective. The result is a suppression of our inner strength, slowly eroding our deepest desires for personal greatness. In a world where mediocrity is celebrated and conformity is applauded, how do we reclaim the power to become the best version of ourselves? How do we cast off the chains of societal expectations and tap into the raw energy of our subconscious mind, the very force that can drive us to greatness? This is the tension that Nietzsche so powerfully invites us to explore, the clash between the will to power and the forces that seek to keep it dormant. The human experience, as Nietzsche presents it, is an eternal struggle between these opposing forces, the pole of the subconscious mind, which yearns for self-overcoming and growth, and the constant pressure from society to remain docile, to fit in, to conform. As you stand at the edge of this realization, take a moment to reflect. Is your life unfolding according to your deepest desires, or are you simply following a preordained script shaped by others' values? Could it be that you've been trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, overcoming limitation after limitation, yet never quite tapping into the power that lies beneath the surface of your existence? What would it take to break free from these confines and access the full measure of your power? What kind of world would you be capable of creating if you allowed your will to power to fully emerge? These are not idle questions. They are the questions that lay the foundation for true self-mastery. In this exploration of Nietzsche's philosophy, we will dive deep into the process of overcoming limitation and how embracing this raw power can lead to the unfolding of your deepest potential. Prepare yourself for a journey that challenges your most fundamental beliefs and forces you to confront your own capacity for greatness. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you this. Are you ready to step into the arena of your own transformation, or will you remain on the sidelines, watching as others live out their potential? Subscribe now to begin the journey. What does it mean to truly master yourself? To reach a point where you are no longer at the mercy of fleeting impulses, societal pressures, or the weight of your past mistakes? How does one rise above the noise of everyday life and begin to shape their destiny with an unyielding hand? Nietzsche's answer lies in self-mastery. He believed that the path to becoming who you are meant to be doesn't lie in external validation, nor from following rules that limit your growth. No, true greatness lies in the ability to discipline the mind and cultivate inner strength, carving out a path that is uniquely your own. In a world obsessed with convenience and instant gratification, the pursuit of self-mastery feels like an ancient, almost unreachable ideal. The modern world tells you that happiness is found in consumption, in avoiding discomfort, in finding the quickest solution to every problem. Yet, Nietzsche challenges this notion at its core. In a society that thrives on distractions and short-term pleasures, how do you find the strength to say no to your immediate desires and instead choose the harder, more rewarding path of self-mastery? How do you break free from the cycle of seeking external validation and find peace in your own inner authority? This is where the true struggle begins. The will to power, as Nietzsche suggests, is not just about achieving external success. It's about refining your inner world, conquering the parts of yourself that hold you back, and mastering your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. This is the key to personal greatness. Consider this: self-mastery doesn't just mean controlling your impulses, it means understanding them. It means looking inward and recognizing that each desire, each thought, is a manifestation of your subconscious mind. If left unchecked, these impulses will control you, leading you to places you don't want to go, creating limits that confine your potential. But when you choose to confront these impulses, to examine them and channel them into productive action, you begin to harness the power that Nietzsche speaks of. It is through this process of self-overcoming that the individual gains true inner strength. Every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you strengthen your will. Every time you resist the pull of convenience, you reinforce your ability to face adversity. Every time you challenge the status quo and reject the easy path, you move one step closer to self-actualization. The question is, will you choose the hard road of self-mastery, or will you continue to follow the path of least resistance, constantly seeking comfort but never truly growing? The truth is, if you want to unlock your full potential, you must cultivate a deep and unshakable commitment to self-discipline. This commitment forms the bedrock of your will to power, the driving force behind everything you do, the force that pushes you to challenge your own limitations and rise to meet the challenges of life with courage and clarity. As Nietzsche observed, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." But without this inner clarity, without a sense of purpose and self-discipline, life becomes a series of distractions that prevent you from stepping into your true power. Here's the problem: we live in a world that encourages us to avoid discomfort, to look for quick fixes, and to seek instant rewards. But this mindset keeps us from realizing our true potential. The path of self-mastery is long and often painful, yet it is the only way to build true strength, to cultivate human potential that extends far beyond the ordinary. So ask yourself this: what are you avoiding? What parts of yourself are you unwilling to confront? What if you chose to take full responsibility for your actions, thoughts, and life? True power comes from knowing yourself fully and taking control of your inner world. It's a process of deep introspection, of self-overcoming, and of rising above the limitations imposed by society and by your own subconscious mind. And when you choose to walk this path, you not only transform yourself, but you change the world around you. Have you ever felt that nagging, quiet voice inside you, telling you that you are not enough? That something about you, some part of your mind, is keeping you from becoming the person you know you could be? And what if I told you that this voice, the voice that points out your insecurities, your fears, your failures, is actually the very thing you must face to transcend yourself? Nietzsche's philosophy calls this shadow work, the confrontation of the parts of ourselves that we'd rather keep hidden. The parts that, if left unchecked, can sabotage our best efforts and keep us from embracing our true power. To become who you truly are, Nietzsche insists, you must confront these darker elements head-on. But here's the thing: society teaches us to avoid discomfort at all costs. We're taught to suppress our emotions, to keep our vulnerabilities under wraps, and to present a polished version of ourselves to the world. We build walls around the darker parts of our psyche, believing that by ignoring them, we can outrun them. However, Nietzsche warns us against this kind of denial. He suggests that to achieve true existential growth, we must not shy away from our shadows, but rather, we must lean into them. The parts of ourselves that we hide, the feelings of anger, jealousy, fear, or even shame, hold the keys to our ultimate transformation. The psychological journey of confronting these shadows is both grueling and rewarding. When you face your darkest fears, your deepest insecurities, you are no longer bound by them. Instead, you begin to use them as fuel for your personal transformation. As Nietzsche asserts, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. The chaos, the darkness within you, is not something to be feared. It is the source of your greatest strength. Every human being has these hidden parts of themselves: the anger from past betrayals, the jealousy over others' successes, the fear of failure, the shame of past mistakes. But what makes one person a warrior is their ability to embrace these emotions, not as weaknesses, but as catalysts for growth. The more you accept these darker facets of your character, the more powerful you become. Instead of running from them, you harness them to fuel your self-overcoming. This is where the true test of your strength lies. Will you choose to confront your fears, or will you continue to cower in their shadow? Will you turn your struggles into stepping stones for growth, or will you let them define you as weak, as a prisoner of your past? The warrior, in Nietzsche's view, is the person who has faced the darkest corners of their own mind, who has looked at their weaknesses, their insecurities, and said, "I will not be defined by you. I will transcend you." This is the path of individuation, the process of becoming the person you were always meant to be, not by conforming to the expectations of others, but by embracing every part of yourself, even the uncomfortable ones. Consider how you've been shaped by the shadows of your past. How much of your identity is defined by past failures? Imagine confronting these fears head-on and shattering the chains they've placed on you, breaking free from the voices of doubt that tell you you're not good enough. This is the warrior's path, a journey of self-confrontation and personal transformation. The warrior is not someone who is fearless. They are someone who has faced their fears and emerged stronger. They have embraced their shadows, not as something to be ashamed of, but as the raw material from which their strength is forged. And here lies a powerful truth. The warrior is not born, they are made. You have the ability to become a warrior. You can confront your darkest self and emerge stronger, more powerful, more aligned with who you are meant to be. This process of embracing and overcoming your shadows is what allows you to truly harness the will to power. It is what allows you to tap into the deepest well of your inner strength, moving beyond your limitations, beyond the stories you've been told about who you are, and into the realm of who you can become. But there's a catch. This journey is not easy. It will demand everything from you. The fight against your own insecurities, your fears, and your limitations will push you to your breaking point. But if you can withstand this trial, if you can rise above the weight of your past, you will begin to realize your true power. Here's the question: are you willing to face your own darkness? Are you ready to confront the shadows within you, the parts of yourself that you've tried to bury? Because only by embracing these parts of yourself will you truly begin to embody the strength and power that Nietzsche speaks of. If you are, then know this: the warrior's path is not for the faint of heart, but it is the path that leads to true self-mastery. It is the path that will take you to the place where your deepest potential lies waiting to be unleashed. What if the very concept of good and evil was a lie, a social construct designed to keep you from reaching your full potential? What if everything you've been taught about morality is a prison, keeping you confined within a system that tells you who you should be, how you should act, and what you should value? Nietzsche challenges the entire foundation of traditional morality. He argues that the concepts of good and evil are not universal truths. They are constructs that have been handed down to us by society, religion, and the ruling classes. And more than that, he insists that these constructs suppress the true will to power within us, chaining us to a set of values that stifle our growth and potential. The tension between conventional morality and the will to power is profound. On one hand, you have society, with its rules, standards, and expectations. You are told to be good, to follow the rules, to fit in with the collective. On the other hand, you have the voice within you, the voice of your deeper self, calling you to break free from these constraints, to embrace a new moral code that is uniquely yours. Think about it. From the moment we are born, we are taught what is right and wrong. We are taught to conform, to follow the rules, and to adhere to the values handed down by others. But in doing so, we sacrifice our own individuality, our own ability to create values that align with who we truly are. We allow ourselves to be shaped by the ideals of others, never questioning whether these ideals serve our growth or suppress it. Nietzsche's challenge to us is clear. What if morality, as we know it, is not a universal truth, but a tool of control? He argues that morality, especially the morality rooted in religious and societal traditions, keeps you locked in a state of weakness, suppressing your true potential. When you live by a moral code that is not your own, you are constantly at odds with your deeper desires for power, greatness, and self-overcoming. What Nietzsche offers in place of this conventional morality is a radical, deeply personal philosophy of values. He calls it the creation of a new morality, one that is not based on external prescriptions, but on the individual's own will to power. This new morality is not about adhering to the rules of others. It is about creating your own rules, your own values, based on what is truly life-affirming and empowering for you. This process of rejecting traditional moral codes and creating your own values is a key part of self-mastery. It requires you to dig deep within yourself, to examine your fears, desires, and instincts, and to determine what you truly stand for. It is only when you reject the moral systems imposed upon you by society that you can begin to embrace your true power and potential. But the journey is not without its challenges. The moment you step outside the bounds of conventional morality, you will face resistance. People will judge you, criticize you, and even try to shame you for your choices. They will try to pull you back into the safe, predictable world of good and evil, where your actions are governed by external forces rather than by your own values. This is the cost of becoming, of stepping into your power. To create your own values, to live a life of true self-overcoming, you must be willing to stand apart from the crowd. You must be willing to endure the judgment of others and the discomfort that comes with living outside of societal norms. Here's the truth: the moment you create your own values, you become free. You are no longer bound by the chains of societal expectations. You can now live a life that is fully aligned with your will to power, a life where you are the creator of your own destiny. By rejecting traditional morality, you are not abandoning all ethics or becoming a bad person. Instead, you are choosing a higher moral code, one that is centered around individual freedom, personal growth, and authentic power. You are creating values that empower you to live fully, to transcend your limitations, and to embody your deepest potential. In this way, Nietzsche's philosophy offers a path to true liberation. It invites you to redefine what is good and evil in your own terms, to create a moral system that reflects your self-overcoming journey. This is the key to unlocking your inner strength and fully embracing your human potential. So, I ask you, are you ready to break free from the constraints of society's moral code? Are you prepared to create your own values that empower you to become who you truly are? Because the moment you do, you will step into a life of true power, a life where you are the master of your destiny. Imagine for a moment that everything you've struggled with, every fear, every failure, every moment of doubt, has been leading you to this very moment. What if the very challenges you've faced, the limitations you've encountered, and the painful experiences you've endured were not obstacles at all, but the raw material from which your true self is forged? This is the profound truth Nietzsche offers through his philosophy. The journey to becoming who you truly are is a continuous process, an act of perpetual transformation. It is not about reaching a destination or achieving a final state of perfection. It is about the constant act of becoming, of evolving, growing, and transcending yourself over and over again. At the heart of Nietzsche's philosophy lies the concept of the will to power. This force, the drive to overcome and create, is not static. It does not end once you've conquered a particular challenge or reached a specific goal. The will to power is a never-ending cycle, a force that propels you forward, urging you to constantly evolve and push the boundaries of what is possible. And here's the ultimate realization: true self-mastery, true individual power, does not come from reaching a final destination or achieving an ultimate goal. It comes from the continual act of self-overcoming. It is about consciously choosing to evolve, to confront your weaknesses, your fears, and your limitations, and to transform them into sources of strength. It is about embracing your journey of becoming with all of its ups and downs, knowing that each moment of struggle and each moment of growth is part of the ongoing process of creating the person you are meant to be. This is the final act of transformation, the moment when you realize that your life is not about attaining a fixed identity, but about the continuous creation of yourself. In this process, you do not seek to conform to an idea or a standard. Instead, you seek to transcend all ideas and standards, to define yourself on your own terms. Think about it. Every time you face a challenge and choose to rise above it, you are becoming someone new. Every time you confront a fear or a limitation and turn it into an opportunity for growth, you are becoming more fully yourself. This is the essence of individuation, the journey of aligning your inner and outer worlds, of becoming more integrated, more whole, and more in tune with your deepest self. But it is not an easy path. The process of self-overcoming demands everything from you. It requires that you face your deepest fears, confront the parts of yourself that you would rather deny, and push yourself beyond the limits you once thought impossible. But it is only through this struggle, through this act of becoming, that you unlock your full potential and achieve true freedom. This realization, that you are always becoming, is both liberating and humbling. It frees you from the pressure of achieving perfection, of reaching some ultimate goal. Instead, it invites you to embrace the journey, to relish the process of transformation, and to take pride in every step you take toward becoming the person you are meant to be. The true power of Nietzsche's philosophy lies not in the promise of a final destination, but in the radical freedom to create yourself anew at every moment. Your life becomes an ongoing act of creation, an unfolding of your deepest potential, driven by your own will to power. True self-mastery is not a destination. It is a perpetual act of becoming. It is a challenge to embrace the process of transformation, to recognize that every moment, every experience, and every challenge is an opportunity for you to evolve into something greater. It is the constant act of self-overcoming that defines your life, not any singular achievement or goal. So now, I ask you, are you ready to embrace this truth? Are you prepared to step into the continuous act of becoming, of evolving and transcending, of creating the person you were always meant to be? Because the power to do so lies within you, waiting for you to claim it. And as you reflect on this, I want to leave you with a final thought. Your life is your canvas. The brush is in your hands. Every stroke you make, every challenge you face, every moment of growth is part of the masterpiece that is your life. I encourage you, take that first step. Begin the journey of becoming, knowing that you are always in the process of creation. Comment below and share your thoughts, your struggles, and your journey of becoming. Because the path to true power starts with the courage to begin.